I love that song, guys. If you don't have the CD, you got to check it out. Time Machine. Well, I mean, they're all great songs, but for my own personal opinion, go to track 11 and start with that one because it's just killer. But anyways,
cool.
Time Machine. So when you're doing the harmonies, how did that come about? Who kind of arranges that?
You mean the vocal harmonies?
Vocal harmonies.
We just kind of whatever the lead is, and Richie sings pretty high, so I can go over him with falsetto or underneath him with my natural voice. So and we just basically sing whatever the chord is and whatever the motion is that he's doing. And way back from the early days, my original band Talus in Buffalo, we were a harmony band. We did Three Dog Night, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Grand Funk Railroad, all heavy harmony singing all the time. And Mr. Big also, heavy harmony band. We did a lot of singing in Mr. Big. So I always liked that. As far as musicians, I always encourage players when I'm doing my clinics and seminars, whatever, to sing. Sing too. You'll at least save a hotel room from not having to hire a backup singer. That'll enhance your bottom line for sure. But I as a fan, you generally, when you're out at a club listening to music, you're not necessarily wiggling your fingers around to you might be air drumming. Maybe air guitaring and air bassing, but you're definitely singing. So
right.
Singing is a thing. And I've been lucky to play with some just great singers. The guys in Talus were awesome singers, a drummer and guitar player. David Lee Roth, I love his voice. I still do to this day. Mr. Big, Eric Martin, one of the best singers around. Richie Kotzen now with the Winery Dogs is blowing people's minds because he's got this Paul Rogers, Chris Cornell, Prince hybrid that is just wonderful, and he just nails it live so well. It's great. So I'm lucky to play with great lead singers. So I do what I can, not only to harmonize to enhance the song as much, but also sometimes to jump in and give them a little break they can pull back as they're singing a whole show. So it's a lot of work on a little tiny set of vocal cords. So we do our best.
Now on that bass solo lick, would you mind kind of over the next couple of minutes kind of just break down a little bit of what you're doing there, and then after we'll do that, then we're going to take a short break, and then we'll announce the winner of the Hartke bass attack pedal. But let's talk about what you're doing there.
So we did the little break. Something simple because the drums is just riding. The next one. Then Mike went. He played I played a thing, played along with his drum thing there. Then the next thing is kind of a wacky little thing that Richie and I did together. You can see it on the camera. Oh, sorry, I played it wrong. I played it wrong again. See, whenever you record something, you forget what the heck you did.
Relearn your part.
This in particular on the Winery Dogs record, when we recorded it, we just flew. We weren't thinking at all. Oh, do a bass thing. Okay, woo. Okay, next song. And then we had to go back and learn this stuff. And Time Machine wasn't a bad one, but the lick and Not Hopeless, I spent days trying to figure out that. Days, and I already played it, but I just couldn't figure out what the heck my fingers were doing. So anyway, that one, go back to the original lick. That's it. So that's the second part, and then the next one is a little tricky. So, sorry. It's just kind of a cascading, crazy pull-off thing. And it's got to go by quick, too. But I'm a firm believer that there's nothing I do that someone else can't do. And if you work at it hard enough, anything I do, you can do. It may take you a while, but, it's just piece by piece. Because I learn really complicated stuff sometimes that's just overwhelming in the beginning. But you take it a little chunk at a time, piece at a time, piece, and then you get... Forget. There it is. Finally got it. So.
Let me ask you though, when because you're playing pretty fast, how do you get that articulation where it's so clear? I mean, I can really because you're using distortion too, and it's I can hear every note.
Well, that's why even with the bass off, It's the notes are sounding loud on the bass. So I practice a lot with no amp at all.
Okay.
And I think it's an important thing because you're trying to get everything you can off those strings in the bass minus any electronics or any help at all. Then when you plug in, that's just icing on the cake. But I really encourage players to not rely so much on electronics as your hands. Electronics are there to help you out later, and they're certainly we couldn't live without them. But if you're getting all the tones and all the notes you need to get off the bass quiet and clean, I mean, in a quiet room, doing it cleanly, then when you plug into an amp, you've got an amazing tonal spectrum to work with.
When you're whether you're tapping or plucking on your right hand, when you hit the notes with your left hand on the fretboard, are you hammering on?
Sometimes.
So you're like attacking it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to. I gotta hit that. It was pretty. And one thing you can see in the camera, I always put my index finger underneath my middle finger, and the middle finger kind of pushes down, so it's this double whammy. So I can. Now, without an amp at all, it's still coming off the bass pretty loud.
Yeah, you're hearing every note.
Yeah.
But your left hand, you seem to attack it.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll hit it really hard.
When I was years ago in school, that was one of the things to get when you're playing fast. They had said hit it with your finger on the left hand while you're picking or whatever you're doing. Yeah, you seem to be doing that.
Yeah, a million variations. Sometimes as practice, I'll just take my left hand and go.
He's doing that one hand. It's all left hand.
Just build up that strength and bounce and get it in time and get it note to note so the notes are even, so that the little spaces between the notes start to equal out. And as I do it right now, it's a little sloppy, but I have to pound on it and get it up to speed. But it's a great. I get real creative with my practicing. I do a lot of things to get my hands up to a level where they could do almost anything I can imagine, then forget about that completely and then do music.